What do you think Joe's net worth is? Try to form your guess as we go over the things he spends his money on, and we'll reveal the answer at the end of the video. Welcome back to The Trending. Joe Rogan is a man of many talents, doing everything from podcasting to stand-up comedy to narrating martial arts fights to acting. He's pretty much constantly doing something, and whatever it is that he's doing, he's usually getting paid for it. That answers the question of where his millions comes from, but what does he do with them? That's what we'll be taking a look at in today's video. How Joe Rogan spends his millions. Before we get started, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Joe was born in Newark, New Jersey, to parents who divorced when he was just 5. He hasn't seen his dad since he was about 7 years old though, which Joe says is because his dad was abusive. He moved around a lot with his mom, going from New Jersey to San Francisco, from San Francisco to Florida, and then finally from Florida to Massachusetts. Right around this time is when he picked up a passion for martial arts and pursued a tad bit of stand-up comedy as well. He moved to New York and focused more and more on his stand-up, which got him a good bit of attention and led him to doing some bigger things, like hosting Fear Factor. He also got to commentate on UFC fights thanks to his love for the sport, which he actually still does sometimes to this day. All the way back in 2009 though is when he approached the podcast format. He launched a podcast called The Joe Rogan Experience free of charge, and continues the podcast today, with it still being one of the most popular podcasts in the entire world. As of today, the show is slowly approaching an insane 1,500 episodes, spanning over 11 years. Alright, so we have the backstory established, and we know how he's getting paid, but what's he spending his money on? One of the more obvious answers is, of course, vacations. The man is active pretty much constantly and seems to have absolutely no downtime in his day-to-day life, so we can't blame him for wanting to get away from society every now and then. He has a wife as well as 3 kids, so sometimes he likes to treat the family to trips to Hawaii or Thailand. He also has a bit of a knack for hunting. While it's a strange hobby that some don't understand and others enjoy now and then, it's a passion for Joe. He only uses a bow and arrow when he's hunting, so he may not be dropping a bunch of money on guns, but he's probably still dropping some cash for clothes, arrows, rides, or whatever else you need for a large-scale hunting trip. We also can't forget one of the classic staples of being rich, luxury cars. Just like every other person out there with a net worth of 6 figures, he's got more cars than he knows what to do with. He has 8 different cars, including a Tesla Model S P100D, 1971 Ford Bronco, 1993 Porsche 964, and more. If you listen to his podcast, you probably already know he's a bit of a health nut, and that's a good bit of where his money goes as well. It's already significantly more expensive in America to try to eat healthier, but Joe isn't just on a diet, he goes a little overboard. Dietary supplements, saunas, personal gym equipment, cryo chambers, sensory deprivation tanks, and more all feed off his pockets. Another thing he goes hand in hand with being rich is, of course, real estate. He has a mansion in California, as well as some other mystery property that are definitely pretty huge to the everyday person, but considering just how much money Joe has to spare, they're actually a little modest by comparison. He also has the infamous man cave though, where he records his podcasts, plays pool, practices archery, works out, and more. Another thing that eats away at Joe's pocket are his vices, just like everyone else on the planet of course. Joe has made it no secret that he's into taking psychedelics and is down with Mary Jane every now and then as well, both of which can get pretty costly pretty fast. I guess when you make your profit back by dropping a tab on acid and then hopping back into the recording studio, it doesn't really matter all that much though. No matter how much money is in your bank account though, you should always remember that everything can be bad for you outside of moderation. He also spends money on employees and the people he loves. Even if he is the front man of the business, nothing runs smoothly with just one person behind it. So he's got people on his payroll at the end of the day for sure, and there's also obviously Jamie. He's also just a very social guy in general, constantly somewhere doing something with someone. Whether it's going out to eat, staying in a fancy hotel, hitting up a concert, going on hunting trips, or whatever else he and his crew may do in their free time, we are sure Joe picks up the tab every now and then with his pockets being as fat as they are. Alright, now for the answer to the question. Joe's net worth comes in right at $100 million. Did you get close? Let us know in the comments below. This concludes today's video on how Joe Rogan spends his millions. Are you a fan of Joe Rogan? What would you do if you had millions of dollars at your disposal? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.